Good morning, everyone. I haven't recorded in a while. Obviously, those of you who are parents or teachers will know that it's been the Easter holidays for the kids that have been out of school for just over 2 weeks. And I just haven't had time to do a lot at all, to be honest, because, you know, all 3 of the kids are at home. I have 3 kids, all in primary school, and obviously they need a lot of input and they make a lot of mess, and I haven't had time to, this is their first day back, so I've not really had time to tidy up as well, which I will do a bit later. Planning on having a good clean this afternoon, but I thought I'd pop on here first because if I do the cleaning first, I won't get time to film because I'll get carried away and won't stop, and then it'll be time to pick the children up, and I will have not actually been productive at all, or well, productive housework wise, but not actually work wise. So it's best to get all of that done first and then do the housework after, I find, otherwise I don't get anything else done. We didn't do a lot of tidying up over the Easter holidays because everything just got pulled back out again, so we just did what we really needed to do, really. And I mean, the kids had a great holiday. They stayed with their grandparents one night while me and my partner went out with his friends for his birthday and one of his friends' birthday and his other friend's 10-year anniversary, which is a really good feat to be together for 10 years, especially nowadays. And yeah, so it was a really good night. Got a teeny tiny injury on my arm, can't even really see it. But yeah, it's a good night. My first night out in one of the local cities, and we went to a really nice restaurant called Benedict's and had a taster session, and it was really good. We got the wine pairing as well. I don't usually go to posh restaurants because, come on, I'm not really posh, am I? But I really had a good time. It was the service was amazing. The food was really quite good. There was a couple of things that I weren't overly fond of, just because my taste is obviously a bit different. I think one of the courses was like carrots wrapped in sort of seaweed. It didn't really have a lot of flavour. I would have put maybe some ginger or horseradish or something, wasabi or anything like that, just to give it a little bit of a kick. But it was nice. It was just missing something. So, but the rest of it was really nice. I have sensory issues with texture of certain foods, so some things I just can't eat. But yeah, I just thought I'd have a quick catch up and show you like what I'm working on at the minute and some things I discovered when I was cleaning out the attic the other week, just before the Easter holidays, and it's gave me a little idea of a video series to do. So whether anyone wants to see it or not, that's their choice, but it's very nostalgic for me, so I'll get to that in a minute. At the minute I'm working on something that I've designed. It's a hoodie. It's got like a cutout, some chains in it, and this is going to be the hood. Obviously it's not quite done yet. It's not in my size because I've not made it for me. I've made it to sell. So it'll go up on either my Etsy or my eBay when it's done. So if anyone does want it, it's size 10 to 12. I am going to be developing a pattern for this and doing more sizes. It's just going to take time to, obviously, I want to make one in every size to make sure that the pattern works that I've done, and then get it tested by some people to make sure that it doesn't just work for me, it works for other people as well before I put anything up. So that's what I'll be doing over the next few weeks, do some more sizes of this. I would like to range it from like a UK size 8 all the way through to sort of a 22 if I can. So that'd sort of be extra small to 3XL, I believe. So I've just got to figure all that out. But I'm quite excited. I really like this, and when I get to my size of it, I will be keeping that one because it's really nice and I really want one. So yeah, going back to what I said about cleaning out the attic, we had to clean out the attic because we had some work done in our attic and on our roof. Things are a bit manic. They've been a bit manic over the last sort of couple of months. We've had builders in, we've had plasterers, we're in the middle of redecorating, which we've had to stop doing because of the Easter holidays, because you just can't get it done. So we will be going back to doing that. Obviously the kids will go to bed a bit earlier because they're back at school, so we're going to do some of the redecorating in the evening. Obviously, as my partner has a different sleep schedule to me because of his work, I will work while he's having his sleep, and we'll both do the decorating in the evening, fingers crossed, hopefully, if we can get it all done. It just really depends on the situation. It's going to take time. There's just 2 of us, and you know, these things are not done in like 5 minutes or a day, and me being the very impatient person I am, want it done and I want it done now, and unfortunately it doesn't work like that. I'm limited on how much I can do each day, which is just my life, and I just have to deal with things being utter chaotic and messy for a while, which I really do not like, but can't be helped at the minute until everything's decorated and everything can go back into its place and the new stuff that we're getting can get placed and we can get the storage solutions in. It's just everything's a bit topsy-turvy and manic, so I'm just doing the best I can when I can. That's that. But yeah, clearing the attic out. When I was younger, in the early to mid 90s, my mum worked as a home carer, and one of the ladies, because I was very interested in arts and crafts and sort of sewing and knitting, and I've been interested in that since I was about 4. So she was quite fond of my mum, and she was quite fond of me, and she knew that I was really interested in this. She actually made me a knitted piglet, which, apologies, the washing machine is on again. It might start spinning. If it starts spinning, I'll stop. Yeah, of course it's going to start spinning because it appears to do that every single time I do a video, really. So I'm just going to... So it appears to have stopped for now. Sometimes it does a second spin, so I might have to pause again in a minute. I might not. Hopefully not. Anyway, as I was saying, this particular lady, my mum cared for in the early 90s, liked me and liked mum, made me a nice little lamb teddy, a knitted lamb teddy that I had for years and years and years. Absolutely loved it. I had it till it fell apart. Unfortunately, she passed away in the 90s as well. She was very, very old. But yeah, she passed these on to me. They're called Golden Hands. Now, some of you will know about them, some won't. These were magazines that were around, I think, through the 70s, maybe the early 80s as well. This is the 3rd one. But I did have them all. I had 10 of them, I think. I think there was 10. Unfortunately, when me and my nanny used to share them, like they were gifted to me, but my nanny loved crochet and knitting as well, so we'd share them. And unfortunately, when my nanny passed away, obviously people must have assumed that they were hers and not mine, and they were gone, never to be seen again. So I don't know, I have no idea what happened to them. Along with a lot of my books that I used to lend, me and my nanny used to lend each other books because we were both very avid readers. I still am, obviously. Unfortunately, nanny passed away, but we used to lend each other books, and I stayed around there a lot, so my books were there. And unfortunately they went as well, because I think people just assumed that they were all just hers. So I did lose a lot of books as well, which at the time I weren't really bothered about. I was too busy grieving about nanny. It's only since she passed away 8 years ago, this year I think it is, yeah, 2015, so 8 years ago. It's only as time's gone on, it's sort of like those things I've started to think about. But at the time, I was too torn up over losing nanny to even think about it. So unfortunately, I didn't even try to rescue them because I was just too busy grieving. But I do have 4 of them here. I am going to look for the rest online and that to see if I can get some more, because I do like these books, these magazines, and it gave me the idea of maybe doing a vintage series where I pick a pattern to do. I really would like to do this one in here. It's daisy looms. When I think I was 6 or 7, me and my nanny made the bedspread to this. I helped her make the daisies, and then she crocheted them all together because I couldn't crochet then, I could only knit. I didn't grasp crocheting until I was older, and that was because the way the hook is held doesn't suit the way I work. So as an adult, I knew how to modify it to suit the way I work so that I could still do it. So I would actually like to make this again eventually, because it's quite nostalgic for me. It'd be lovely to recreate that bed throw that my nanny and I made together when I was a child. It'd be lovely, and maybe hopefully if my daughter wants to, she can help me with it. It'd be a nice little thing that we could do together, but it's only if she wants to. She loves the idea of arts and crafts. She loves the idea of crochet and knitting, sewing, cross stitch, any of that, but she's too impatient. So she'll do a couple of bits and then be like, Mum, can you finish it for me? We did a cross stitch kit over Easter and she'd done about 4 stitches and said, no, can you finish it? So I ended up doing a cross stitch of a rainbow. She gets bored. She likes to do other stuff as well. She's always on the go. So maybe when she's a little bit older, if she wants to do it, we can do it together. If not, I'll do it on my own. But yeah, I was thinking about maybe once a fortnight, maybe once a month, depends on how long it takes me to make these specific things, of picking a random pattern and making it and seeing what's happening, and perhaps put it up to sell or just see how it turns out. It might turn out absolutely rubbish because I don't really follow patterns per se. I can follow tutorials, I can go by eye, but I don't really use patterns a lot. So this is going to be a learning curve for me as well, because as much as I try to stick to patterns, I don't. My brain goes off and I think, oh, well, I wonder what it looks like if I do this instead. So we'll see, but I'm going to give it a try, and I'm really looking forward to doing that because it's very interesting. But yeah, these were out in the 70s, I think. Let's have a little look. 1972, 1966. So 60s and 70s, the different ones. This is number 4 of the binders. There's lots of them in here. It's not just crochet and knitting. There's netting, macrame, lace work, sewing, beading. There's all sorts of different things in here. I'd like to try embroidery, cross stitch, just lots of different things. Some things that I haven't actually done before either, because I mainly focused on the knitting ones in here when I was younger. And like sort of when they were first given to me, I just liked looking through all the pictures because I was quite young. But yeah, I'm quite excited to try some of these and see what they're like. I also found some vintage patterns in a charity shop. I walked by, saw them in the window and thought, I like those. I might have to give them a try as well. And there's a bookshop near me where every book, no matter the size, when it was released or anything, it's all secondhand, they're £1. So I go in there about once a week if I can get up there, and if time allows, and look at different, usually novels, because I love books and I like to read a lot, and I'm trying not to spend too much on books this year because we've got other things we need to pay for. But I got, I think, 7 knitting and crochet books. think it might be done now, hopefully. So yeah, in the pound bookshop, I got all of these for £1 each. He did say that he gets quite a lot of these sorts of books in, so I will be going back and looking for more. But these are all sort of, some of these are vintage patterns, they're quite old patterns, 85. Foul knits, which I thought was quite novel and would be fun and maybe a little bit challenging for me, but I'd like to try to do some sort of colour work stuff where I'm changing colours, because I use a lot of variegated yarn but I don't do a lot of different colours, so I'd like to do that. I think this is from, where is this one from? 87, a year before I was born. This one's a bit of a newer one. It's children's toddler clothes and things, so they're always nice to make. Complete guide to knitting. It says in here February 1983, so you know that was 5 years before I was born. And that's the perks of secondhand books, you find things there. But yeah, so this can all go in the vintage series of different things I try and make. That looks really cool. It's an apron knitted in multicoloured wool in the early 19th century. It's very cool. I like that. That's not a pattern though, that's just a picture there. And then country knits. So again, just different things for me to try and make, because I like that. And I thought, I studied history at university, I love history, I watch a lot of documentaries, I read a lot of books to do with history, I like novels set back in time, and I thought, well, why not combine two of my passions together and try some older stuff. There's another thing that I want to try, I think it's called binding. Can't remember what it's called now, but the Vikings used to do it apparently, so I'd like to give that a try at some point as well. But that's just a fun thing for me to try, because I'm interested in things like that. So there'll probably be more of this sort of thing coming, and if I can get earlier stuff, I'd love to find some patterns from like the 1800s, early 1900s, to give a try as well, because they were written very differently to the way patterns are now, and there's no tutorials or anything, and a lot of times there's not any pictures either. So it'd be great to see how it works up, and whether the interpretation is different between different people. So maybe something I make from the same pattern as something someone else makes might look completely different. And I think that'd be interesting to see. It's something that interests me anyway. So there will probably be a bit more of that, given the time constraints. We'll see, because it takes a long while to make anything anyway, and there's a lot of other stuff to do. And I've still got to sell things, because obviously it is a business as well, so we'll see how that goes. There's dust, and I have a dust allergy, so I'm now whistling when I breathe, which is great. While I was in the pound bookshop, I couldn't help myself, I picked up this Meg Hutchinson book. It's quite good. I've read it before. I think I was in school the last time I read it though, so it'd be nice to reread it. I read a bit of everything, and I usually lean towards fantasy novels, but I do like these sort of novels as well. I think they're family saga, I think they're called. Like Meg Hutchinson, Catherine Cookson. I do like Catherine Cookson books. One of my favourite books of hers, Katie Mulholland. I read it and reread it. I love that book. But I do like fantasy as well. I love fantasy. David Gemmell is one of my favourite authors. Obviously he passed away, so no more books of his, but his Drenai books are amazing, and his Roganti books as well. I loved both series, thought they were fantastic. Sorry, gone off on a tangent again, but yeah, I picked this up at the pound bookshop, and then I picked this up as well because I do like scary stories, and my partner recommended it to me because he has read it and said it's really good. So that'll be another thing. Again, I only sort of I used to read 5 books a week before I had children and everything. Pretty much all I did was work and read, mostly. I did other stuff as well, but most of the time, if I wasn't working, I was reading. And now I don't get a lot of time. I probably get about an hour a day if that. But every time I get a chance, I do pick up a book. I'm currently reading Stephen King's Dreamcatcher for the second time, third time, maybe fourth time. Again, I do really like that book as well. I do have a tendency to reread books. If I really like them, I will reread them. And if I really, really like them, I get them on Audible so that I can listen to them numerous times while I'm doing other things when I just don't have the time to sit down and read. But nothing beats an actual book, you know, with the smell and the feel of it in your hands and everything. I've had Kindles, I've tried reading on Kindle on my phone, and I do like audiobooks, but nothing beats an actual book. For me, I love it. I love sitting down, complete silence, and just lose myself in a book. There's nothing quite like it, but unfortunately the perks of being an adult is that you can't read as much as you want to. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been up to. The Easter holidays were absolutely manic. I am shattered. My other half is shattered. The kids went back to school shattered. We've been really, really busy. We've had a couple of days out. We've had days in when it's rained. We've had gaming on the Xbox because we all like doing that as well. We've had quiet days. The kids have just started getting really into books as well, so we've had some days where we've just all been quite quiet, and then other days where the kids have been utterly bored, and no matter what we do, nothing is good enough, nothing works, and they've just been in a bit of a bad mood some of the time. But I think everyone's entitled to their crappy days, and we just sort of allow them that, as long as they're not being rude to us. Obviously we ask them, you can be angry at us, but don't be rude. We're sort of trying to encourage them to regulate their own emotions, which is very difficult, because it's very hard not to take things personally. As a parent, you have to try not to, but it's very hard not to, especially one of the kids, one of my lovely children, is, I don't know how to word it. He knows how to push your buttons. He knows how to do it in the right way, and it's very hard not to be reactive to that. You need to, for me, I'm trying to take a step back and understand why he's saying what he's saying, as opposed to getting hurt by what he's actually saying, and trying to find a fix for that, to try and stop that behaviour, but not be an absolute tyrant, because it is hard. Parenting's hard. Like, no one prepares you for this bit. They say about the sleepless nights, and when they're a baby and all of that, but then they get a bit older and they get a bit more independent and they form their own opinions, and people don't often warn you about how much you butt heads with your kids when they're growing up, because, you know, they're their own little person with their own personality, their own opinion, and sometimes, or most of the time, their opinion is not your opinion, and you get in arguments, and it's normal. It is normal. But as a mum, and the mum guilt kicks in, and sometimes I go to bed and think, oh God, I was absolutely horrendous today. Why did I tell them off for that? Why was that such an issue? Why couldn't I just let them get on with it? I think that's normal though, isn't it? Anyway, I think this video is a bit longer than I intended it to be. I intended it to be 5 minutes, but I like to chat, like to yap, so that's what's happened. I will check in again. Oh, come on, a third one? I don't know why it takes so long. Anyway, I've got impatient, so I don't want to wait for that. I was going to say goodbye, but quickly, I am also going to start uploading other things that I'm doing through the day, so like things that I'm eating, meal ideas and things, because I'm trying to lose weight. I've been trying to lose weight for a long time. I exercise, I try and eat healthy, but clearly I am doing something wrong. I'm overeating somewhere, I'm doing something, maybe mindlessly eating, not realising what I'm doing, not entirely sure what it is. And I figured that if I record what I'm doing, if I take pictures and hold myself a bit more accountable, then I can figure out where I'm going wrong and help myself to lose some more weight and get a bit healthier, because obviously I'm now approaching my mid-30s, I'll be 35 in August, and I don't want to be like this. I didn't used to be like this, and quite frankly I'm sick of it. But I want to do it in a healthy way, because I had disordered eating as a teenager. I had a very, very bad, poor relationship with food, and I don't want to slip back in that. I'm quite scared of slipping back in that. I know, like now, my size, if I was to skip meals or not eat for days at a time like I used to, it probably wouldn't hurt me, but I don't want to slip back into that routine because it's hard to get out of. And I'm trying to be a role model for my children, and I don't want to teach them disordered eating and unhealthy eating and things like that. I mean, my kids eat more than I do anyway, and obviously I want to, and my partner eats a lot more than me, even though he's a lot smaller than me, and my kids aren't overweight, so it's clearly something I'm doing. But obviously I want to be a good role model to them, so I want to be able to eat healthy stuff, and I don't know, I'm not sure where I'm going wrong, and I figured if I have a record of what I'm eating, perhaps I can look back on it and be like, oh, I bet a bit too much there, or had a bit too much fat intake, or a bit too much of this, a bit too much of that, and I can perhaps scale it back and work on that. Also, if other people are seeing it, they can probably give me some hints, some tips, some ideas of what I might be doing wrong. I mean, it all helps, doesn't it? And as much as I would love to go to the gym regularly and do that, I cannot afford a gym membership at the minute. There are much more important things that I need to spend money on right now. You know, as I said, we're redecorating, the kids are going to need new clothes soon because, you know, kids grow quickly. My partner really needs to update his wardrobe as well, because he's had the same clothes for years and things are starting to wear out a bit, so he does tend to wear stuff until it's completely dead. There's just lots of things that we have to pay for at the minute, like cost of living, things are getting more expensive. I just can't afford a gym membership at the minute, and it's the choice between a gym membership and swimming lessons for my children, and their swimming lessons for my children is more important because they need to know how to swim. That's a survival skill that they need to know. So that is what the money that would be going on a gym membership is going on right now. So I'm doing home workouts, I'm walking more, doing long walks every day. I am being as active as I can, but obviously, clearly, I'm going wrong somewhere. So if you don't want to watch anything like that, just don't watch it. It's not a problem. I've not got many subscribers anyway, so it's not really going to make a big difference to anybody's lives, but it might make a big difference to mine. So that is what I'm going to do. Anyway, after that, something that was only supposed to take 5 minutes, taken over half an hour to record. I will chop that down. Obviously, I'm going to not sit here with me watching the washing machine to wait for it to finish and whatnot. And yeah, I'll check in again. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, it might be another day, it might be a week. Who knows? We'll just see what happens and what time allows and how much stuff I actually get done, because there's no point me coming on here and showing you nothing, is there, really? So I will leave you to it. Have a great day, and I will be back again soon. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.